Thank you very much, viewers from Babis. This is Comrade Ramjatan, leader of the Alliance for Change, on tonight's show, Alliance on the Move. We have quite a bit to talk about this afternoon, and I am here with Professor Shamir, who used to be the ambassador to Kuwait, United, and all the other countries around there, United Arab Emirates, and a number of other countries who he was our plenipotentiary of. And he is also going to make his input. But I want to start off on a matter that is very solemn, the deaths that have been occurring in the Middle East, the death of the journalist, Shireen, Al Jazeera journalist, and the deaths that are happening in Ukraine and in Russia. And Doc has indicated to me that he's going to do a dua for that. And I'll ask him to do it now.
Good evening, namaste, salams, honorable leader, Kamraj, and listeners in Guyana and globally. Inna Allahi wa inna ilahi raji'un. Verily to Allah we belong, and verily to Him do we return. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim, ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Our condolences to all the persons who have died in Palestine, in Ukraine, and around the world, and especially to the UAE ruling families, the Emiratis, the expats in UAE, all the ruling families in Kuwait, Qatar, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Oman, their citizens and expats. Ya Allah, please accept our duas from Guyana, South America, the Alliance for Change Party, the APNU parties, the PPPC party, Anuk party, all Guyanese in the diaspora and people around the world for Jannatul Firdaus, garden in heaven, and Jannah, paradise from those who have been good to enter, for His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, inshallah. Alalima, Aila, Sawatan min Almat. Actions speak louder than words. Ya Rahman, His Highness gave His best for His teams. A fitting example, Burj Al Arab 2001, 7 stars when there was a desert. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix Formula One. Burj Khalifa and Burj Dubai, a skyscraper, the tallest building in the world, but a symbol of family unity as Allah requires. Then there's the Dubai World Expo, 5.6 million from 192 countries with a beacon of hope for today and tomorrow for 7.8 million in the world. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Doing good for all people as Allah commands, those who can. His Highness, President Sheikh Zayed, met and exceed your expectation. Yes, Allah, ni filan. Guyana was privileged to enjoy 8 million assistances, Africa, Asia, Latin America, and globally. Al-Basir, the all-seeing, as UAE investors consider Guyana. Grant all the wisdom to make the decisions that will be pleasing to you for all Guyanese, not for half of the nation, as in your eyes, Allah, all are equal. Ya Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik, accept your collective du'as for Jannatul Firdaus, Garden of Eden, and Jannah, paradise, from those who have been good to enter, for His Highness UAE Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, inshallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Thank you very much, Professor Shamir. And that was one of the better ways of opening in view of all the negatives happening in those parts.
Thank you.
I am glad to have Ricky Ramsarup, very well known on this program and well known now to the Barbicians. And of course, our big man up at Barbice, Basdeo. How are you doing, Basdeo? Welcome back home. Could you put on your microphone? You're muted, it would appear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Very much sorry, Mr. Kemraj, Mr. Ricky Ramsarup, and Professor Shamir. Glad to be and happy to be in the panel with learned individuals. Thank you.
Yes. Well, we wanted to make some comments about our trip that we made to Anchorville. And as I indicated to the Anchorville residents, these matters are going to be taken by questions in Parliament and also raising them with the Minister of Local Government. A couple days ago, about 9 days ago, we were at, was it 9 days ago or less than that? We were in Berbice and we were doing a meeting with the residents of Anchorville who called on me. I understand that the minister, immediately after he saw myself and the other persons, Ricky and who was it else? Arnold. The minister, Zulfikar, found it fitting to go there and ask a very important question. Why allow Ramjatan to come here for? You know, as if they got transport over the Port Morant East Indians. That's the arrogance that is shown. What you got to invite Ramjatan to Port Morant for? Well, Ramjatan was a born Babishan. Ramjatan went to school in Port Morant. Ramjatan at JC Chandy saying Ramjatan played cricket at that same ball field there that was duck and so on.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right. And so my, you call it belly buttons and everything, they did port string and so on in Bobby's.
Naval
string. But I want to let them understand that we are going to urge the government of Guyana to ensure that they put monies on the regional development that they have into Anchorville to the tune, as we are now estimating, in the form of about $39 million to get that entire Anchorville, all the drainage system redone, and also to get what is called the concrete drain system, these 3 feet in diameter concrete, so that it could go to the front trench and also go to the back trench, and you can have the citizens there living in peace, because it really struck me. I didn't get to mention this the last time, but it really struck me how, PPP supporters or support bases are being, taken I-pass. The I-pass is so plenty. And nobody seems, not even Zulfikar or David Armagon or a number of the others, are doing anything about it. And every time the rain falls, it makes those people's lives so miserable. And of course, as I told them, yet when they go into that ballot station, they see the cup they get. But they're being taken granted. They were fooled. Big time, they were fooled. And so these questions will go to the minister, the relevant minister. It's not Zulfikar necessarily, but I can ask Zulfikar. I happen to know him very well. And also to ask him the question, why you really felt that I shouldn't be in Port Morant.
Yep.
What did he feel there? That he got exclusive sovereignty over that territory? Well, they don't. Port Moronters did vote for the Alliance for Change because we carry their suggestions to Parliament. We also did quite a few things and made a lot of roads and so on in that area whilst we were in government. We don't forget anybody. But once they know their support base and they know that they are entrenched there, they take the eyes and pass the people. They take them for granted. But a lot of the Port Morant people, you remember, Ricky, told us that not again, we were fooled.
Yep.
And so many things that they fooled us about. And what is also happening there is a punishment in relation to cost of living. Inflation now is so high that the goods and so on that they paid a couple $1,000s for, they got to double it up now, they were telling me. And that is, of course, all across the country. And they're having tremendous difficulties. The other problem they mentioned was a lot of them had crop losses. And I am pleading with them to fill up the forms so I can send it, first of all, to Mr. Zulfikar. And if he doesn't pay, we are going to carry them to court. I haven't seen some of the forms come back. Only 2 forms came, and I'll have to try with that. But a number of them indicated. And so I want them to do that form. That is important. The roads in that area, the pathways are in such bad state, derelict almost. And the people say snake and all kinds of things there when the rain falls, coming into the people's yard. So I want to tell them that, yes, the questions will be asked. And just like I am doing it here now, publicly, everybody will get to know how Anaville people suffer. And the PPP which they voted in, not listening to them one bit. And the rain's going to come again next week, I understand, in a big way in quarantine. The May-June rains are with us here. And it appears nothing is being done. All the people that are living in the reserves who got transport and all of that, whether it's rightly or wrongly, the drainage around the transported land now ought to be done by the state, the region, and or the NDC. But I hear the NDC people not even going around. What you got local government authorities for? What you got regional governments for? What you got the national government for when the people are suffering? So I want to readily state that we are going to have a lot of things asked in Parliament concerning residents in Anaville. But not only in Anaville. After we came back, there was another day of rain and a lot of other people, Blackbush areas and so on, areas in New Amsterdam are being affected. And Albion. Of course, you can mention some of those here, Basdale. But all of these, we have to start going. And I'm urging, especially our representative like Basdale and a number of other people that we have, Orilal and so on, we need you to ensure that you talk to the people there and fix a date so that some of the leaders of the AFC can come up and we can deal with the issues. I understand that you were at Albion today, Basdale. Could you give us a little rundown as to what happened there?
Yes. Good evening, everyone, and all your listeners out there. I know, like our leader, Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan of the AFC said, it's starting to rain already, and we're going to expect more rain. Today, this evening, was a lot of drizzle. And continuing and saddle back in on our leader, Mr. Kemraj, with that rain and the visit that you made and followed up by the PPP Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa, this what I'm saying here, our listeners out there and everyone in the diaspora, right? This is the honest truth because it's in the minutes. This Thursday gone in our RDC statutory meeting, it's in the minutes. Mr. David Armour, the chairman of the RDC, announced that Mr. Zulfikar Mustafa came to Missouri, Anaville, Port Morant, Babujan, and he was announcing it for a good 5 minutes. After that, I rebutted. I said, well, our AFC leader and our MP, Ricky Ramsaroop, was in there in Anaville with the people. It's on video. It's on national TV. It's on video across the world that people can see that we were there as AFC representatives. And the people acknowledge it today, Mr. Ramjatan. I was there. I couldn't go in that street where that ball field is. I couldn't go in the street. I had to stop, walk in the area, and one the guy tell me, hey man, a good thing you wear your long boots, right? But your long boots can't go anywhere far, far, you know. You know, this is honest truth. In Albion, in the Chesney housing scheme, there's flooded area in there already, bad roads, very bad roads. Look, one of the people yesterday for the Albion NDC said it plain and straight in front of my house, opposite the station, that Bazu, you come back, look how they're going to dress up and clean up and dig up and do irrigation in that Chesney scheme. Because they know my mouth is not easy. I support the people out there. And that's the reason why I joined AFC 2005, right? Because we know we are a party of all walks of life. Now, like, I want to bring this up really quickly, Mr. Kemraj. Some of the pictures, even to the picture that was circulated in Texas with our people going to Texas, there with our ambassador to Guyana from America, Miss Iran Lynch. They're all Indian faces there. And my brothers and sisters over there, not my blood ones, but people from all walks, or even to the PBP people, say, wait a minute, y'all don't get nodded. This is in Guyana? It's all these Indian faces you see all over the place. You know, even to at the RDC level, I was asking our ladies in that RDC boardroom 2 months ago, 11 people on the directors and Gaiwa. Our ladies are not qualified to be directors and managers. You know, this is all things that we have to address. You know, look at Ankerville situation. Look at Port Moran, where the people are voting for them all the time, right? But you see, PPP get one thing. You keep the people in low poverty level, uneducated, and slummy areas. Come election time, they go back and give them a couple $1,000 and beg for them vote. But the people are smart now. This afternoon I went there. They said Mr. Kemraj was there. Mr. Ramsarup was there. Mr. Arnold went and do a follow-up, Mr. Kemraj.
That's
right.
Correct.
They acknowledged me that I made a follow-up there. And this is the honest truth. Things that I'm going to be saying here on this TV program tonight, right, is all in the minutes of the RDC, and I cannot lie. And if people want it, I could prove it to them because I walk with it most of the time. I walk with it at Ankerville today. Because some of the journalists, journalists, they are not covering what's happening in the RDC. Our arguments there as the opposition.
That is an amazing development that I am noticing very clearly. Reporters are like they're servile. They're subservient to this this set of jagabats we got in the government, and they don't want to bring them out and scrutinize and get the reports out and so on. I talked to two of them, and because they wanted to know what I was doing there, and I indicated what I was doing there, and I told them that they should also go to Ankerville. You know, one of them asked me for passage money. I said, well, please, you are a serious reporter, go there. I don't have an announce your name. But the important thing is we have to do this for the world to see, and also to do our own videoing of whenever these occurrences happen, like floods and so on. Ricky, I want to introduce you now to the Barbicians, and a larger viewership too, because this is not only going to Barbies.
Thank you very much, and good evening to you guys, Professor Derek. Look, I was very happy to join the team to be in Ankerville because, the people, and I wanted to do a comparison because only about 2 or 3 days ago, the Vice President were criticizing our activists in Linden, predominantly the PNC, and criticize him heavily that they believe that, they control the area and they own the area, they got no votes there and so on. But it's the same thing they are now doing to us in Barbies. If you understand, they are wanting to say, okay, well, them alone own Barbies. So what, Kamraj mustn't go, Ricky mustn't go. And it's the same thing they're doing there. And he's complaining about it only about 3 days ago. I don't know if you all saw the interview. And, the people, and the reason for that, Kamraj, what's happening there is because they know that the people will vote for them, do or die. And they're using them. And my words to the people in Ankerville, that if you give up now on the fight there, then you're going to left like that for another 3-4 years. they were not going to take you on seriously. You have to continue to stand up. The next day I received a call from WIM. Also, there's some houses came the
That's
same
right.
flooding. So they know that the vote is coming from Region 6 and like the solid there. So there's playing less emphasis. They're gonna turn up as Derek says, just before election, give them some money, whatever what, and vote away. You understand? That
No,
thing
it
can't
is
work.
true. I want to say that they knew that the May June rains were coming, and it happened even in Georgetown. They don't want to support the mayor because, of course, they feel that they're all APNU people and AFC people and so on,
Hmm.
and they allow even Georgetown to sometimes get flooded out, and they don't want to clean the drains. And it is now, when you compare what David Patterson did as Minister of Infrastructure, you then realize how, with foresight and the act of preparation long before the rainy season comes in and so on, you try to clean up and clear up the place. And also do a lot of digging of drains to go into the main canals at the back so that you could be drained so quickly and so on and so efficiently. But a
Kamat,
lot of things are happening in Berbice
yeah.
end.
Before
I,
you go,
I
Kamat, I wanted to make this very important point since we're talking about the RDCs. I think they probably must be heard by this by now.
yeah.
We got our RDC councillors there, Mr. Intikab, Mr. Azataki. I don't know if you know him, Derek. He was assaulted by the PPRDC councillor named some Intikab Ali. You know, because of what? Because the guy speak against corruption in the RDC. And he jump and attack the guy physically. The matters at the police store. But these are the things that is happening. Whenever you speak, whenever the people in Barbie speak, they got some bullies and hooligans them going and trying
Intimidate.
to intimidate them and insult. This guy was assaulted. His head got a lot of bruises and things and so on physically.
I know Azataki got a gas station next to Hogsty there, and the member has a lot to do in relation to what we had done a long time ago. I don't notice him that active these days, but he's all a very open, frank speaker of his mind, and I am certain that when you live in some of these areas, these bullies that the PPP got, they want to shut up everybody. They want to live like what Putin is doing in Russia now with anybody that condemned the war in Ukraine. So anytime you open your mouth against Jagdeo or the PPP or Irfan Ali, they want to shut.
I want Sharad to put the picture up with the guy who's all. I sent him to him just now. I want him to try to put up the picture. I show the assault of the guy, the head bruise and so on. Let the people in Barbie see. This thing is very serious. You understand? I mean, if guys who talk about corruption and so within the RDC, you can't go assault. I don't expect him to go assault Mr. Bazir because he's talking against what's happening. He has his right to talk. And these
Well,
things
that
gotta
is a
stop.
democracy that we see that the PPP always indulge in. One that is driven by fear and some strong men in their villages. It used to happen at the East Coast too in some of these areas. And they go and they bully, they're very vulnerable. Taki should get about, I don't know, about 65 years and so on now, old man. And that is what they also did to him at an NDC meeting. When the NDC, he was a counselor for the AFC in an NDC, in that NDC there. And they beat him up inside of that NDC meeting. And he continues to be very outspoken. And I didn't even know about this new development with Taki. We'll have to stop in there next time we pass. Professor, you had indicated that you would like to make some comments in connection with investments and so on in relation to Mideast investors
Yes.
and your contacts with
Yes.
people from the Islamic Bank and so on
Yes.
that can benefit Guyana, but what
Yes.
Guyana has to do to make itself investor
Right.
friendly.
Right.
So it is important that you tell some of the Barbicians, because
Yes.
you have tremendous contacts in the Mideast, being the ambassador to the coalition government to those places. So please tell us.
Right. Thank you, Honorable Leader, and Ricky, Derek, and listeners in Berbice or fellow Guyanese. A little bit of the background. In 2003, I am an adjunct professor at George Washington University. And there was a Mohammed from Qatar I did not know was a royal family. And so since 2003, a Qatar ruling family through my George Washington University reviewing oral dissertations for the final EDD program. So I knew Qatar very well, very connected to Qatar. In 2014, at the Hibiscus restaurant, Dr. Jagdio interviewed me for 107 minutes with an attorney present and another fellow, Yusuf, who's now at the Guyana consulate. Dr. Jagdio heard that my name was interested in going, and he was very surprised. He didn't expect me to live the good life in USA. I said, yes, I've had a lot of good mentors from Donald Jackson, the Lalakos, right down to Raman Bakas Gajraj. So I'd like to give back at this stage of my life. But on one condition, no shenanigans. I'm not into shenanigans. That's the Islamic world, and I will meet Mecca. And if not, no shenanigans. Nothing happened. AFC lobbied in 2015, and I was appointed. I thought I was going for 1 year, driving at 70 miles per hour to a Harvard Club investment seminar. The email came through for 3 years. Marianne told me what happened. This time she's a 25 years old senior global marketing director at Merck, launching Emen products for cancer, Fosamax for osteoporosis, Cancidus for antifungal, and Move on Shaker. She's on a vice president track for Merck to launch diabetes Geneva. And here it is, her husband going to Kuwait for 3 years. I heard she interviewed Minister Ramjatan, Minister Gaskin, Doc Somar, Kathy, David Patterson. And only when we were driving home after that seminar, then she told me that she is resigning from Merck and going to Kuwait. I have to tell you, I cannot begin. Those who know pharmaceutical world, Merck is the number 4 pharmaceutical world. You can only imagine what sacrifice that lady did for Guyana.
But for the viewers, Mariam is his wife.
His wife, yep. And she has an EDD from George Washington University, a Move on Shaker. So, but let me tell you, sidebar, of all that 4 years and all her sacrifice, no regrets till today. She will tell her friends with the contacts, the people she met, and the culture she had learned as an American in a Middle East country is money in the bank. So as with her marketing skill, when we arrived, 9 out of 10 persons, irrespective, Dr. Ishmael did his best, foundation from 11 to 14, they did not know Guyana was there. And Guyana embassies in 2011, I'm arriving in 16, 5 years, 9 out of 10, ambassadors. The Foreign Affairs says Guyana was the worst embassy, with all due respect. I will not lie tonight. Allah, God, Ram, Sita, visions ahead. Guyana was the worst. They never respond. Had a worst. I says, no. I have a global iPhone. Reach me 24/7. It's there. So the flag, they thought it was Guinea, and there's no Guinea embassy in Kuwait. They thought it was Ghana. There's no Ghana. Ghana embassy came last year. So we decide show and tell, and no Guyana started immediately. Well, I'm new. I went there in August 16. My accreditation didn't come till March 17. So I went to the dean and asked him what lessons, what tip. I learned very little before I left. And he told me, whatever you do, remember these 3 lessons to the balance of your life and in Kuwait. Relationships. And when you get them, treasure them, maintain them. Don't do anything fuddy-duddy. Straight. And remember, understand you're a move on shake in America. In Kuwait is sabar. In the Middle East, patience, and more patience. And the third tip, respect. Respect everybody, irrespective of who they are. So my impression, Dr. Ishmael did his very best, but he had many limitations, staff, finance, all the above. But when I turn up, I didn't tear one piece of information down. That's the key. I never knew that parties tear each other down. That's not in my vocabulary. Not one item from Dr. Ishmael was, so he built on there. Now, 4 years, we have a strong foundation. What you do and what you say with Honorable Senior Minister Winston Jordan. And this one flyer, this simple flyer that we manufactured, Show and Tell Guyana, was always in my pocket, 3 or 7. I'm at Astana at the closing ceremony for the Islamic Science and Technology Fair. And who's sitting to my left? The president of the Islamic Development Bank, Dr. Hagar. So I whip up my folder and there's a picture of me promoting Guyana, which is my style. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the beginning of the 900 million US dollars credit and grant for Guyana. These little things mean a lot. Minister Jordan was shocked. I was shocked. I thought it was 9 million. I thought it was 90. He said 900. I said, we can't spend that money and you need feasibility studies. I then went to OPEC and asked OPEC to help us with feasibility studies, but it didn't materialize. Kuwait Ministry of Finance Debt Management says, Ambassador Ali, I've been trying for years. Nobody answered my call. There's this debt, please go. Well, don't forget, I have no credentials, but by virtue of Muslim, I'm at the mosque. And asked the dean to take charge of me. So when we go, the Amir is in front of the Imam in the masjid. On the right, all his ministers and family. On the left, after him, is the dean. And next, who is the dean? Guess who is next to the dean? From August till my credential in March. Unbelievable. Guyana. One country in the Middle East came and bounced me out in the first Eid in August. The dean and he's a tall dean from Senegal. He just looked at him. Since then, nobody wanted the protocol. Because I wasn't accredited, I couldn't use the Guyana flag. So nobody knew Guyana was coming. So I'll drive behind his car. He will stop and introduce me. I'm designate. So he schooled me. Then I got to the royal family, His Highness Sheikh Nazir, who went to Guyana and loved Guyana. Myself and Marianne will go to the private palaces alone, nobody else. Marianne goes once a week with the Sheikhs. I even got honorary brotherhood status. We're only the brothers and families. I'm not boasting, but you can understand what was done on the coalition for Guyana. So we got 66 and 2/3 debt write-off from Kuwait.
That's
I
right.
asked for 100. His Highness said, if I give Guyana, I have the whole work. His Highness had trouble from his staff right down to the end. They said Guyana will not pay. Guyana behaved very badly. But he says, no, we'll give a chance. We'll give a chance. Then we got from Kuwait for the Rusignol project, 1.6 million. Then Irina, 8 million for Abu Dhabi. And for the World Expo, is the Kuwait embassy arranged that? I know the others, new government are taking credit, but the facts are the facts. I worked on it, $1.5 million. So overall, during our term, 1 billion grants. We promoted Guyana in a booth. We did an aviation show, one of 28 countries, Guyana with no aircraft. But Guyana was there. And we did an unpresentable show. For the 50th anniversary and 25 years of diplomatic relation, we did 14 activities, a Guinness World Record, an old plate car which was valued 100 US dollars. Everybody was scared. My insurance was $300. Marianne said, let's use that
All right.
car and make a record. 41,000 stickers. Marianne was the project manager. An all-time record in 2 names, Guyana and Kuwait. I can't begin to tell you the goodwill. Marianne did the recycling program. He asked her brother. We used to attain heavily on our own, a lot of people, to promote Guyana and help the ruling families in the Middle East. If they want something, they never come to you, Derek. They'll go to Camrach and talk to Derek, or they'll talk to Ricky to talk to Derek. That is the culture, and Guyana was in the thick. They want to meet the U.S. ambassador's wife, who they didn't meet. Marianne, I'm in that trip to Guyana for heads of mission. Marianne had parties every night at the villa, personal expense, entertaining the Shakers who want to meet the American ambassador. The Japanese, I have to tell you the truth, the Japanese ambassador wife want to meet certain people. Marianne arranged it. It's Guyana image. Marianne was hoping that Japan would have taken on her recycling program, but his tenure is ending in 2 months, so he didn't. So Marianne decided there's no budget. Safraj, who Dr. Jagdeo told me in 2014, he took from CIOG and sent to Kuwait. He was always no money, never no money. So Marianne
All
said,
right, Prof.
yeah,
It's an hour-long program. What we
yeah,
need here is what are some of the things now in relation to investments from the Middle
right.
East countries that we're going
Well,
to need?
right now we got a bad image and three things that is going to affect us. One, the recycling program that the ruling family was using, the ambassadors were using, was discontinued 1 month after I left, and everybody is upset, including the ruling family. They asked what kind of leadership Guyana is. If that's what they do with Kuwait, who was giving them all this money, why must we, the entire GCC, invest in Guyana? I had the embassy with 300 pictures, including the one with Islamic Development Bank. He heard that the picture is off in a box. Yes, you all are coming for a loan, and that's the kind of management you have? When you were there, you had a minister of finance as the governor, and you as the alternate governor. Now we have a vice president. Some say first, some say second. We have no idea, but it said vice president.
That's exactly
And
what we're talking about.
there's no minister of finance. Where is your minister of finance? We said, Your
Mm.
Highness, Your Excellency. What am I going to say? We said, what are you going to say? Tell me the truth, because you're my brother. I told you my brother. And we said, well, he's a senior minister in the office. He's doing the work. Why he doesn't have the title, I cannot guess, but you've been around the mulberry bush. You got 57 Nation. You will know. So that is it. So they're very, very disturbed. They're doing Qatar ruling family came to the embassy, saw the show and tell, borrowed the idea to use in Qatar. All the 96 ambassadors who came to Guyana embassy, they had a page for the country in Guyana website. So they know all that has been cleared. Three major. Everybody's saying this new government is that's the kind of a people. Worse yet, the man who took it down is now in Qatar. Qatar
So
said
you're saying that we might not get any investments from
it
these
is
countries?
doubt. It is doubt. And that's why I have to tell you, from my intelligence, brother to brother, I'm in touch with everybody in this iPhone. Everyone that contact is still there. They're disappointed with the way they've seen things gone in Kuwait. The ambassadors talk to each other. They cannot understand the style. They hear all the words and all the pompidity. They're doing their due diligence. I asked, I happen to write the book with Dr. Marquardt. You lead by asking question. So when I hear all this question, they asked me about Praderville 1. I said, what? What's Praderville 1? The Sheikh says, I saw a report. My staff is doing extensive due diligence because it's a lot of money. We had our hands burnt around the world. They even asked me recently, Guyana has all the makings of Sri Lanka. I said, I didn't think of it. Why do you say that? Why do you say that, Your Excellency, Your Highness? I'm in North Carolina. I'm not on site. He says, well, your three friends, families, and favorites, and politics. We said, yes, we got a lot of that. He said, the Chinese. We said, oh, yes, they're there. They're there. He said, there's an Anand Gulsran. We said, oh, not just Anand. There's a Dr. Anand Gulsran. He said, he's a doctor. And we said, yes. And he has a first-rate degree. I happen to know him very well. They said he wrote on China. So the area is doing due diligence unbelievable. And when they do the papers, don't forget they have staff doing this work, not the sheikhs. They're making the decision, like the loan for 51 from Kuwait. The officer said no, but the big chief overruled. But right now, my contacts are now a little bit worried, so they come after me almost daily. What about this? Is this real? And it says, my style, I give you three opinions: a plus, a minus, and a middle. You do your due diligence, get your people to go in Guyana, find out yourself. They're reading all the media, everything. They're unbelievable. The deaf, these people are rich. They're no fools. They have experienced people. So because of that, believe you me in my heart, and all the things I've been hearing, and all the promises they get in the Arab culture, they don't like to say no. Arab culture don't. They will tell you yes, they'll shake the hand. You'll even get an MOU. But that does mean I've known where they spent $1 billion and walked away in a nation country. I know.
All right. Well, you have spoken so much in relation to a thing that is being rebutted by them, because they are giving us the impression that they will have a flood of money coming in from the Islamic Bank, a flood of money coming in from the Middle East. But
Yes.
like so many other things, Professor,
Yeah.
it is all pie in the sky.
Yeah.
They are fooling us Guyanese tremendously.
Yeah.
And they're going to say they're going to build this thing, they're going to build that. And even the other day, like it's 2 times they're withdrawing this oil money from the Natural Resource Fund. They already withdraw all the money inside of the Natural Resource Fund that we had for 2020 and 2021 and put it in the 22 budget. And today, just to bring relevance back to the thing, they said that they've withdrawn $200 million for certain national development priorities. I could not believe that. Myself and Christopher Ram did a program recently, and I was asking, but if you take all the money from that $607.6 million US dollars, 126 billion Ghana dollars, and you put it inside of the consolidated fund, you have withdrawn from the Natural Resource Fund already. But they want to now go and tell their supporters, to make relevance again, the $200 million has now been withdrawn. And we got 406 more to come. Well, they don't take the whole blasted set of money. And what they did with it, we don't know. And when they said national development priorities, what are these? Is that salaries? Is that you're doing back Skeldon Estate? Or you're making a brand new estate at Port Morant and Anaville there? Or you're doing the drainage system at Anaville? They don't want to tell us. So there is absolutely no transparency. And look how they lie about how good they are in the Islamic countries, as if they're going to get anything from them. They're not going to get anything. But,
Yep. Honorable Leader, a good point. After I listened to all that, I says, no, Your Excellency, what can Guyana do to win your confidence? And I'll try to get it to them. He says, well, you have 500-600 million and you're getting billion. Why don't your government be smart? If they got all these degrees all over the world, PhDs, BD, everything else, do one project and bring that one project to us so we can see they can work projects. But our information is reading from Mr. Anand Gulsran. I said, doctor, please, doctor, I have to give respect. Dr. Anand, they don't see any projects. And they list the projects. Some I know, some I don't know. Because, I don't live in Guyana. So they're saying Guyana, for them to really get their support, do one project, make it work, make it successful, and bring it to them, and that will let them see. But they will go through the motion, the song and dance, they'll see, they do the due diligence. I'm hopeful, I'll do all I can, but I will not cut my nose and spoil my face. If not,
don't do that. Don't ever do that.
It's not
Professor, those projects, and you asked an interesting question about your management when you left that office in Kuwait, why the management collapsed. But one of the projects that was mentioned by Dr. Golsaran was a Skelton Sugar Factory. And the foreign secretary responsible for all these ambassadors and so on is the same guy that's started that white elephant in Skelton.
See.
You understand? So you can understand where the management is coming from.
Yeah.
The other project was a specialty hospital. Then you followed by the fiber optic cable project. All of those are the failed projects. And the Amaryllis Falls project that is trying to blame the AP and AFC, not knowing that the IDB has serious issue with that project. And didn't want and praise the AP and AFC for not carry forward that project unless the correct feasibility study has been done properly.
Yeah.
That is what they're good at.
Yeah,
Ricky. That is what they're good at. They're good at public relations, and they make mincemeat of the truth.
Yeah. On Thursday.
Just let me complete the point, Doc.
Yes. Yep.
Professor, there has not been any major, and even Dr. Anand Gulsaran, I saw him in an interview, I think in Globe Span recently, when he mentioned all the failed projects under Jagdeo, who is highly regarded as one of our best
Economist.
investment and economic czar, but almost everything touched by him failed. The Skeldon factory, that Barbies Bridge, that is what has caused the NIS to collapse. The NIS was gave about 90% of the shares there, amount of money to go in. And yet, a company that gave almost just 5% owned 50% of the Barbies Bridge
Mm-hmm.
and gets 27% on its returns. And you know what the NIS get? I don't think they get anything so far. It's a shame. And he arranged that, taking the NIS money to build the Barbies Bridge in that kind of a construct. He's the one that argued with a girl named Van Beek, the insurance commissioner, to send $6 billion to Plico overseas from the NIS money. And today, NIS is literally bankrupt. They don't pay their NIS from Gaisuko. Today's report I got is from the one ending 2020. Gaisuko owes $459 million to the NIS. Gaisuko does deduct the NIS money from the sugar workers, but it does not deposit it in the NIS. 459 million Guyana dollars. You know, see NIS gone corrupt? That man took $110 million of European euros from the EU to transition the sugar
Yep.
and
Yep.
never put
Yep.
1 cent in the sugar.
Yep.
And then Port Moran people, Albion and Skeldon and so on, I used to tell them that. They didn't want to hear. He put it and he never put 1 cent into sugar. And soon as we go inside there, we have to put up to $6 billion. And we have to stop at some point in time. Soon as we stop, he starts saying that how Ramjatan them in like Kuli people, we are Nimakaram, this, that, and he sway their mind. That is why today they all, the last elections, they went back. The trouble is that he fools the people out there. And I don't know how long, because, a wise man once said, you can fool some of the people all the time. All the people some of the time. But you can't fool all the people all the time. And this longest rope got an end. The longest rope got an end. And I am hoping for Babishan's sake that they make that end far earlier than longer by virtue of what they now see. They said they're going to bring back the sugar industry. They cannot bring it back. As a matter of fact, they felt very good when we did the right sizing. As a matter of fact, some of their ministers are telling me that I do them for this mass. I'm not going to do back then and spend money because indeed, you can't produce for 33 cents a pound and sell for 13 cents at 20 cents. Losses you make. And how long are you going to do that? Convert those rice lands into the 4 Ps as we were talking. Peppers, pumpkins, plantains, and then prawns, inland prawn fishing. That is the kind of thing you got to do. You got to diversify. But they didn't want to listen to us. And this country, because of, and that same fella, Carl Sis, Narayan Singh, one set of lie gonna talk and so on, that how he gonna manage the thing. Today, every time he had reduced the projected targets.
Yep.
The projected targets.
That's
That's
the
how we gonna
management
run
you
this
need.
thing. So we are in Barbicians for a lot of real serious times. And when you open your mouth, like, in a democracy, not only must the dogs get their bite, they must also be allowed to bark.
Mm-hmm.
We are not getting this opportunity, like, I'm to tacky there, to bark. When people want to open their mouth and shout and so on in a democracy, that helps to vent the passion and the anger that is seething under there. But now they're not even being allowed to do that. They want to amend the law in relation to social media, like what we're doing here, and TV station. Freedom of expression might soon be eroded. And that is what they're thinking about. They're going to pass a law Tuesday that says now that breaches all the fundamental principles of confession statements. I confess that I commit the crime, but I do it with somebody else. They want to use that somebody else to get convicted on that kind of evidence. It is crazy what they're doing. And they dismantling the whole system of the Juvenile Justice Act and so on, that we took as part and parcel of the important international conventions, from the international conventions, to ensure that young people, juveniles, do not get hardcore kinds of trials and convictions like adults. They are a separate legal regime. We got to treat your young people in a different way, have diversionary measures and so on. They now want to treat them like adults. And it is a crazy thing that they're getting on with. And all of this is coming to pass now because their set of governance, brothers and sisters in Burmese, their governance is far inferior to what we're doing. We were doing there. We were consulting with the people. We wanted 22 people to know how that oil money will be distributed and how it will be spent and how it will be transparently scrutinized. 22 people. They're going to cut it down to 5 people, and all 5, the president must name all 5. Whereas labor, private business, youth, rice farmers, and so on would have gotten representation as to how the oil money will go. They now delete that and they put an act of 5 of them, and it's all 5 favorites, friends, and family members going to tell me basically how this thing can go. So it is. I am hoping that there is going to be some professionalism. I am hoping that there is going to be a lot more transparencies and accountabilities, and I am hoping that they can expand that transparency committee that was from 22 now to 5 now, and to expand it so that we can get back some more civil society people into the system so that they can govern that oil money in a way that the politicos might not be able to do, and so on. So we are just hoping. But with those people there, it is very difficult. I don't know.
It's difficult, Kamraj, because they already on the EITI, they already drop a couple of points there again. And so that that report and that they will not get accreditation from the EITI in Norway. So there's no hope there for transparency, because that is the body supposed to say, put on the website that, okay, they receive, they sell $1 million barrel of oil, they receive $200 million, and the Exxon paid them $200 million. You understand me? And then furthermore, and that's all that had to be in the system on the website, so that the people in Barbados can go and click on the website and see what's happening. That is no longer there.
We need to stop tearing the new government, tearing down the past. I wish we'd stop. 56 years is coming. Tearing down the past government is not working well. It's failing in Kuwait, and it's going to fail badly because Kuwait is talking to Qatar, to Oman, to UAE, to the Islamic Bank, to the Saudis, everybody, and they're asking, Prof, if that is the kind of a government, why is Foreign Affairs approved? I say, well, they have good people. I don't. I send them 3 emails. They don't respond to me. The minister don't respond, Todd. Vice President Jagdeo don't respond. President Ali. So my book is 3. First, 1, 2, 3. 3 times you're out. So I don't. He said, well, do me one favor. We need to know, because we're looking at these investments and we don't know which way to go. Make an effort to reach to somebody. I know you're opposition party, you're out, they kick you out and everything else. See if you can let somebody know. We want to know whether the man who was there, who is now in Qatar, whether he made all the decision on his own or Guyana headquarters. I said, well, send a note verbal. You're Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Go to directly. You are the source. I'm third party. They said, no, it's so sensitive. We don't want to lose them. We need them. We know that since the ambassador gone to October in Qatar, there's nobody in Kuwait. With all the millions Kuwait gave us, they call that disrespect of the highest order. You know, you can't take the people money and have somebody of a first secretary, somebody none. So the person said, reach out. Well, on Thursday, I reach out to one of my contacts who is very close to the government. Here's my thing. We have been brothers. So if something is going wrong for Guyana and is will affect you in Kuwait, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, especially the six GCC countries on the items you and teams are working on to attract investments, Guyana image is in a bad shape after the Ali's 4 years to build the Guyana brand with show, tell, and know. 5 items. Honorable Camarade, you're an attorney. I can only tell you 5, but the other 2 are janjat, big janjat. So on the program, I cannot talk, but they're too serious. I have no idea where foreign affairs know what's going on in Kuwait. But if they're smart and they hear this, they can make a telephone call, they can visit, they can talk to each staff. I don't have to tell them. They know all the experts and find out what's going on. I can only say 2 words: apartment and visa. Diplomatic visa and apartment. I say no more. Foreign affairs, they can sell that out. So I made the call. I come back, and here's the response from the member. He's a close member. I would say he's 1 in 5 or 1 in 7. So he's not outside looking in. He's in the chief cook and butler washer. Well, the big boys have their own approach. I'm out, and I told him 5 items in Kuwait are very bad. I'm multitasking on Zoom. Tomorrow, what time can we talk? Because I don't want to write these stuff. So I'll talk and they can take me. That's okay. I've been around. I know about evidence. Because all my evidence and reports, I have it. Well, 7:19 last Thursday. The big boys have their own approach. Okay. I'm out most of the day. This one Thursday at 7:20. Well, with technology and everything else, no phone call. People asked me today, did I do it? And I did exactly what I did. I read it. I didn't call name. Said it's very authoritative. I have it. If you call me in front of the mosque and Allah, then I'll declare the name, but then would not. So this is the story. Overall, they're going through the motions in that area. Nothing is concrete. And if they're doing check from Prodaville 1, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Is their people's money? Is the staff money? They get promotion and bonus if they do a good job. If a bad job, they didn't. So it's very important that the Guyana government get their act together, solve my recommendation, solve the Kuwait embassy, the 3 recycling and the website and the pictures you take off, put it back and say, you didn't know, blame somebody else, blame the guy. They ask, what is his education? I said, well, see his resume in the thing up. I said, right. You're insulting us by sending that as the ambassador. I said, no, talk to foreign affairs.
Yeah.
Because I'm their brother, they tell me, and I can't lie. If I hear, I got to tell you the truth.
Absolutely. Well, we are 58 minutes out of the 60 into the program. Basdeo, you want to say anything in closing? Because we have to close up in 3 or 4 minutes time.
Yes. Let me be quick. Let the viewers know, especially Anaville, Port Morant. The Port Morant NDC is all PPP councillors. That's why they are being sabotaging all the drainage and they are getting flooded out. And I discussed it with the people in that residential area today, and they all agreed with me. Right? Just to let you know, Dr. Ganan Gulsaran is my father neighbor. They all grew up together, the family in Fire. All right? On the 26th of this month is independence. We are an independent nation. And people, especially in Port Morant and Albion, go out there and talk to your NDCs and demand that they clean the drains, right? They are under the umbrella of the PPP, and that's why they're taking advantage of you all. And Mr. Kamraj, if you see certain poverty levels in the area, children are going to bed without food, and I could stand and point out areas, point out homes, which is a disgrace, a total, this government is a total waste of time. They are looking to build bridges and build airports in Berbice, right? And they can't look after our people.
And stadiums.
Everybody, they're doing that too. It's presently raining now, Mr. Kemraj, in Berbice here. All right. Tomorrow, I'm going to visit Mr. Taki. He's a very good supporter of us, and I'm going to go there and talk with him tomorrow. I thank you so much, viewers, and tune into this program, and you will get the current events of what's going on. Thank you, panel.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Ricky, you would like to make a closing remark?
Yeah, Derek, I'd be happy that you go and visit our guy there and ensure that he's all right. and lend your support. Um, you know, these things, the resources are not being distributed equally, and everybody has to understand that. Right in Anchorville, when we went there, Camarade, the people are saying that the handouts and so on were being distributed, and like one set of household collecting two and three times.
Oh yes, yes.
You understand me? Two and three
The
times they
flood relief
collected. Someone,
and
right, the flood
hampers.
relief. Some of them had the don't have gardens and all these things and so on, and they receive. You understand? So I said, well, you got to talk. If I don't talk, we won't know,
That's right.
right? So I just want to tell the people in Barbies and other part in the country that you got to speak up. If you don't speak up or call us to do our visits, so we will not know. You understand? I mean, this a day age of technology. Send us a message or WhatsApp, whatever. We need to know exactly what's happening. You need to get your voices out. You can't be suffering and just hold it within. So, "Ah, vote for a cop." No man, no man. It doesn't work like that.
Uh, I'm glad. I'm glad that you made that point, and they're going to be taken for granted, and people in the upper echelons of the PPP will not bother with them as they are right now. They're not bothering with them, and so I want Barbicians to please realize you have a duty to become completely good citizens by also utilizing your powers of criticism to criticize that PPP. Don't be blind loyalists. Democracy suffers serious setbacks when there's blind loyalty to some of these leaders that you got in the PPP. Don't believe that. You always have to put the fire in their feet so that they will know that if they don't do good for us, do good for the common or for the commons, as it is called, they shouldn't be there. And I am hoping that next time come around, we will at least get back there or make sure that they get the things done. Prof, your final comments before
Yep.
we close.
Fellow Guyanese, I'm a son of Guyana. I had great mentors from Sir Donald Jones Jackson right down. I want Guyana to succeed. I would not lie, it's part of the Arab culture. I spoke the truth in the hope that the corrections can be done. It's
That's right.
not too late. Nice words are not true, true words are not nice. I hope somebody who listens will take charge and get your image. Don't go for the fluff. And so you can get, and your projects can come back and stream. All is not lost, but they're an undercurrent, a tidal wave, a tsunami is happening. They're reading the media, Kaicho News, Stabrook News, PPP, PNC, Apnud, Web. They are doing extensive work. They have due diligence people are doing behind the scenes. When a ruling family can ask you a product of your life, says, Ya Allah. Yeah.
I think that
That's the depth, how the depth they're going. If they're going that depth, you can imagine in Guyana what else they're going to see.
they're going to find out about the corruption. They will see it in the State Department reports and so on.
And as a result, they see their investment at risk, and they tell me when they put the risk analysis, the projects are not viable. Mr. I could tell you that without even looking at it, with all due respect. He says you're a merchant experience, but what I know of Guyana, no project will pass. None.
Well, that is very sad, Doc.
With all due respect, I don't want to tear them down. They're there, they're elected, they're in power, but they need to know all is not kosher. Going guns, all the bill. I see them, and I get the pictures, and they tell me all is not gold, and they come and ask the questions, ask behind the scenes.
Thank you so much, Professor Shamir, Basdeo, and Ricky. It was
Thank you.
having a lovely night of discussion here on a number of issues on Borbis actually, and also our Mideast sojourns with Doc Shamir. And Borbis viewers, please all the time be with us on this program to get some of the truths that as to what is happening in and around the country and the falsities that the PPP is peddling to you. Thank you, and have a very good night. Thanks,
Good
and
night,
bye.
everybody. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good
Take care.
night. Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.